it's okay. It's an okay podcast. It's all right.
Yeah, you know, it's honestly pretty trash. Not gonna lie, you don't have to. Got to work out some kinks. Well, I'm sure you saw the news or like the controversy that's been going on this week of like the 100 Thieves and Froste news.
Yes.
Yeah, and because we briefly talked about it, but we had some differing opinions on the matter. But for the most part, this thing kind of has to get explained from like point to point, because every like new development was just like, what exactly happened here? You actually watched the video on it. Do you kind of want to give the breakdown of it?
Honestly, I think I have a pretty baseline. I think I have some of the basics of the situation. So I think his name is Froste, right? Mentioned in a tweet that he misses his old org's house that they lived in, which I think was in LA. And that if they weren't living on $60K a year while they were there, they might still be in business, I think is what he said or what he insinuated, right?
The wording was, if we didn't have to worry about our our meal to meal, then it would have been, it would have been a lot better and we would have continued.
And so I think initially there was controversy against 100 Thieves and against Nadeshot, right? But Nadeshot made a statement where he said that that some of what Froste was saying was true, but it wasn't really painting the entire picture.
Yeah, Nadeshot went on stream and kind of gave the breakdown of some of the facts that Froste omitted or didn't say, and then Froste would also say some stuff. Yeah, that the money that was getting thrown was crazy, because what Nadeshot said was each of them were getting $2.5K a month. Okay, so the whole thing is, it's Froste, but he was part of a group called the Mob, which is a group of 4 guys who signed under 100T and got a house. They each were getting $2,500 a month for the contract, under contract with 100 Thieves. And their house, they chose the one that had 10K rent. Right,
so I think this was 100 Thieves helped them find it, but it wasn't the only option.
Yes, it wasn't the only option. They chose the 10K a month house when 4 people are making 2.5K a month. So do the math on that.
Yeah, that math doesn't really add up. Yeah.
And so their other forms of income were, they got to keep all their revenue from streaming. Like that was completely theirs. And then the other point of controversy was sponsorships. Right. Which was originally apparently going to be 95%. And then I think it was is it Tifu? His deal came out and people were like trashing it.
Yeah.
And then they brought it down to 85. So 100 Thieves kept 85% of these sponsorships and the Mob got 15%. And that was another point of controversy where people are like differed on whether that was right or not. But the original tweet of him saying, if we weren't worried on our where our next meal was coming, that seemed very disingenuous when he was.
Yeah, when it's like you put yourself in a situation where that was happening.
Yeah, you were throwing basically your entire contract into a house, and you could have made more money through streaming. However, also we didn't talk about how much he was streaming. He was streaming 40 hours a month.
A month, wow.
Yes. Yeah. So, and as a content creator, not all your time is going to be put in streaming. So, less than the typical 40 hours a week is expected, but 40 hours of streaming a month seems ridiculous.
If technically your business is being a streamer or a content creator.
As a content creator.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was just very fascinating. There's some amazing videos though that got clipped from that. The Froste video of someone asked him to provide proof, and for like
why would I need to provide proof? What is that going to do?
Why would I need to provide proof? Like he says, why would I need to provide proof? Like why would I lie about this?
Your source? Trust me, bro.
Yeah. And then one of the other things is he actually talked about one of the sponsorships that they got was an Elgato sponsorship. And he literally says, the Elgato sponsorship, yeah, we fucked that one up. Not gonna lie. Like, he said yeah, Nate right about it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was our bad.
Yeah, he said, like, this is our bad. Like, they just, he's kind of like tried to rationalize it. It's like where they didn't pay enough and they wanted too much, but it is kind of, I don't know. I also say the mob wasn't too big of like a content creating group at the time. Like, they were only getting a few hundred people, which I don't know what year they got signed 100T, but a few hundred isn't ridiculously large. It's just they were expected, you know, an expected next big thing.
Right.
So signing them for the potential.
Off or something,
yeah. And then they just didn't put in the effort. I don't want to say it's only that, but yeah, that with what you saw the numbers of their streaming and stuff, then there was a clear lack of effort on that side.
Interesting.
There were some amazing sound bites. I've saved some in my computer that I have for personal use now.
For personal use. Yeah. You just gotta send that every once in a while to somebody trying to accuse you of things.
Yeah.
Why would I lie? Why would I lie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Evidence
for a partner. Like, why would I lie?
Yep. Evidence.zip 4, man. It's the next one.
Oh man, that's a deep cut. Some old podcast one. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're gonna be a streamer, actually stream.
Yeah, actually stream. Great content.
That's gonna be your job. Actually stream. Robert, you've been on a journey the past couple of God, was it a week that you were on this journey?
It was like wait, it depends on what you're talking about.
You dived into a great game.
Oh, yes.
For the Nintendo GameCube over the last, I think it was like a week.
Yes.
Which, if nobody knows, Robert likes to dive into games and he will go deep. Me, I'm more of a, get my feet wet, step out, get back in, maybe after a couple hours, step out, go deep for a little bit, like go deep into the wave pool a little bit and then come out. Hit the lazy river a little bit, and then maybe, actually, finish.
So this all started, I want to say last weekend. And it was when I went to Barnes & Nobles and I wanted to pick up a new manga that I started reading, Blue Period, which I'll probably talk about also because that was phenomenal when I started reading it. I decided on a whim to pick up the Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess manga's first volume. And I thought it was great. And so I asked Julian if I could borrow Twilight Princess again because I had borrowed
something about me. I'm the collector.
Yes,
I have a library of games that, depending on the person, I'll loan them out every once in a while.
There's a good amount of games I know Julian has that eventually I might want to play. And Twilight Princess was one I borrowed and I never played. But me reading this was like, okay, I got to play Twilight Princess.
You were invested. It was for me. This is my equivalent on this is I see memes of a certain anime on Twitter, and then I'm like, I need to watch that anime.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah.
And so I borrowed that game on I want to say the 21st or something along those lines.
I believe it.
And I had to freaking bust out a random setup. I had to go to the shed, get my GameCube out. I went to my car to get my GameCube controller, borrowed my brother's TV because, who the fuck has a composite table or composite cable anymore?
What's it called? There's a name for it.
AV?
No.
Composite cable?
No. The type of TV, the tube TV, but there's another name for it. CRT. A CRT.
Oh, no. It was a flat screen, thankfully.
It was a flat screen?
Yeah, it was a flat screen.
Full.
I couldn't get a CRT. No, I couldn't get a CRT. But had to get that. And set it up on the floor in my living room, or in my room. What am I saying, living room? And put a yoga mat on the floor with a extra sheet on top of it, so I could just sit there. I felt like I was like a kid again playing this game. And
it wasn't even that simple. I heard you had some visitors there trying to disrupt your gameplay.
Oh, of course.
Was it like a spider or something?
Oh yeah, dude. No, there was a fucking spider that just popped up in my room. And I swore, like, it hid behind, you can see like the bar right here.
Yeah.
It hid behind one of these and like it wouldn't move. Like it knew this was like the safest spot because I couldn't crush it from a good angle. So like I had to try to like slip through and crush it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I basically smacked the wall. And then on the other side of the tissue, that shit's gone. Like I did not kill it. And it was just paranoid.
It teleported to another universe.
Yeah, he's probably still here, not gonna lie. But I was just sitting on the floor and like I was just like felt my arm itching. It was just paranoia. One day he's just gonna pop up while I'm playing Twilight Princess, just on my like neck or some shit.
Yeah, just like get you.
In the span of, I beat the game in 4 days. In that span, I put in like 33 hours. I was putting in my like 9 to 5. The weekend before though, or that weekend, I had meal prepped, not knowing I was going to use it while I'm playing Twilight Princess, but I was just not leaving my room. I was just eating the meal prep meals, playing Twilight Princess. And I gotta say, it was phenomenal. Like Twilight Princess. Okay, I'll just say it. Almost every Zelda I play, I can see an argument for, oh yeah, I could see someone saying this is the best Zelda game. I felt that way about Ocarina. I felt that way about Majora and Twilight Princess. Wind Waker I love, but I don't know if I can put that there. But I love Wind Waker too. It's a great deal, but for me, it just it didn't hit at the same level. I will say the exploration, the soundtrack, phenomenal though. I love that on that game. And then of course Breath of the Wild.
I played it maybe like 2 hours of it. So,
oh yeah. I can't use your opinion on Wind Waker. Have you even beat Twilight Princess? Have you opened Twilight Princess?
No.
The collector.
I'm a collector, okay? I don't have to play the games, I collect them.
Mm-hmm.
But I did play Breath of the Wild, okay? At least I have at least played one. And I think I beat A Link Between Worlds too, which is a good one for the 3DS. I think I've watched playthroughs of a couple of the games.
Damn,
I'm so bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm a
tough.
fake gamer.
I can't say that. There was like elements of Twilight Princess that I knew of before I beat or played the game because I would just look them up on like Wiki. Like sometimes I'd play one of the games and I'd like the lore, so I'd start reading some of it, and then I'd find myself in other games that I hadn't played, and that's how I knew some of the things in Twilight Princess.
Yeah,
but when I was playing, or after I beat it, another thing I came to thought was, or is a thing I told you where I'd say Breath of the Wild, you'd probably say is the best game in the Zelda franchise, but I wouldn't say it's the best representative. Legend of Zelda game. Like you wouldn't say
of the series as a whole. No.
Yes, it's so separate from all the other ones. I would.
It's very new. It was very. I mean, even at the time, it was super innovative. It kind of birthed a whole new kind of like open world or a new way of looking at open worlds. So
some call it the single player Genshin. Dude, it's what you say?
Yeah.
Wait, are you still playing Genshin?
I played it for like a couple days and I left. I don't know why. I just had like an itch, you know. You just had an itch to play certain games, like a couple games of League or something. Just like
sometimes you just got to play a few games of League and then you're done. Yeah, Twilight Princess. I don't know. Well, now I'm gonna buy the full manga because there are differences. One of the interesting things about the manga is Link actually has a voice instead of being a silent protagonist through them all.
Right. I was gonna ask your opinion because this is related to what you're saying. I was gonna ask your opinion because I've always felt like the art style of Twilight Princess is always what has stuck out the most to me. So you're mentioning that it's like,
yeah, it's definitely darker. It's more. It's interesting. The art style is darker, but I wouldn't consider it the darkest game in the Zelda franchise. I would consider that like to actually be Majora's. Yeah, Majora's to me is the darkest of the games. But Twilight Princess has that kind of dramatic, I guess, is the art style, and the manga kind of, I'll be honest, they kind of make it even more dramatic with some of with Link's backstory. The man gets his arm chopped off early on. Like I'm saying volume 1 stuff, so I feel like I can spoil that because there's like 10 volumes out now. There's seem to be some good content on here. And
wait, those are still coming out, those mangas?
Yeah. I think one just came out, I think this year, or is just coming out like next month.
That's interesting. That's very interesting because there are rumors, very much related to this, that there are rumors that during the next the next Nintendo Direct is going to be a Zelda blowout where they're going to announce a remake of Majora's Mask and Wind Waker for the
Wind
Switch.
Waker.
Or like they're going to re-release it on the Switch. I don't know if a full remake, but that's like the talk around town. So if they're releasing new mangas for Twilight Princess, that's pretty interesting.
Well, Twilight Princess is the only one that I think has lasted this long, because they've done mangas for the Oracle's seasons and Oracles of Ages, but they're all like condensed into one. But Twilight Princess is now hitting its like 10th or 11th volume. They've done a lot with this story apparently, and I think I've read up to like mid volume 2 because I've read it on some sites that I won't name for
for legal reasons,
for the 7 C's sake. But I don't know. It's just it really makes me, every time I beat a Zelda game, I fall in love with. It reminds me how much I love this series. It is my favorite game series. You've gone
through almost all of them, haven't you?
No, not. I haven't. I've been 1 Adventure Link.
I think I remember in high school you said you were going to do that.
I said I was going to. I made the list. I beat the original Zelda and I beat Adventures of Link, and Adventures of Link actually gassed me. I felt so done with the series at that time.
You were physically tired after that game.
Yeah, I was like, oh, fuck this series. No, I just said I need to play some different types of games.
Yeah.
But now, I've been those 2. I've been Ocarina like 4 times, Majora's Mask, Breath of the Wild, now Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass. And
you need to play A Link to the Past.
I do. That's the next one. The next one's Link to the Past. One I never played was Spirit Tracks, but that was the GameCube one.
Those were
not
interesting
GameCube,
times. The DS, yeah. And there was Spirit Tracks, and then there was there was one that was like that, but it was like a ship. It was like.
Are you talking about Phantom Hourglass?
It's Phantom Hourglass.
Yeah.
You said that.
But I beat Zelda in that week, that 4-day period. But the week before that, I basically grinded a different game. Cult of the Lamb released.
Oh yes, I do remember that. Yeah.
Yes.
That had some polar. People were talking about that game for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, that one brought a discussion of how much some people hate roguelike games. That was one of the things I saw was a huge discusussion on.
They've slowed down in recent years. Back in like 2016, I feel like there was like every game that came out was like had like roguelike, because it was really bad because there was roguelikes and roguelites. Yeah.
Yes.
It was. I remember that discussion back in like 2016, 2017. Where people were complaining about how many roguelites there were, and I guess that has resurfaced a little bit with this game. Yeah.
This one, I'll be honest, it's the roguelike aspect of the game, or the dungeon crawling is, to me, was very minimal. I would say it was 30% of the game. Meanwhile, 70% was me building my cult.
So like a management sim.
Yeah, it's basically project management. And manage or resource management.
That's me all day.
I thought that you would like that part of the game. Yeah. It was very fun, but some of my cult member or followers were on some crazy shit. One of them escalated shit because they'll make requests to you sometimes, and most of them I named off. The first few people I named off of my friends' gamer tags. You were one of them. Oh. Almost all of my friends' gamer tags, I had like 20 people at once. The only ones that caused issues at first were my friends' gamer tags, or were my friends' followers.
Did I cause problems? Was I a good follower?
You were fine. Vince's wanted to sacrifice himself. Like, he came up to me. He's like,
himself.
Please yes, he said sacrifice me. Andrews, that man took all my money. Like, I took a good amount of money and dipped. One of them, he was my first. Yeah, he was the first person to die, like, of old age. The other one, it was just all of the problems that happened early on in my cult was due to the ones I named after my friends' gamer tags. But the one villager that I remember, or follower that I always remember, was one who just asked like a series of quests. First one was, hey, can you make one of the followers eat shit? Is basically one of the things is you make dishes for Yes,
Oh, so
you
eat a
make
bad
dishes.
dish. Yeah.
No, you literally make them eat a dish made of fertilizer or basically shit. And so that was the first one. I was like, you know what? I don't want to refuse the request. I said, yeah. And then that was the end of that. A few days later, he asked me, hey, he's acting up. Like this guy's he's gonna leave the cult. Lock him up for a bit. I said, okay. I did it. I locked him up. A few days later, he comes back with a third quest. You have to sacrifice him. He is a heretic. And I said, no, this guy is. I almost wanted to kill this guy because he is clearly on some shit. But there were some interesting NPC interactions on that one, and I really found myself playing 70% of the cult builder because it was a lot of fun. I lagged the shit out of my game too, by the way, because you can decorate it, and I created too many walls because I was gonna like create all the walls at once and then use them to organize. It was literally like almost a fifth of my map was just stone walls, and it was just so laggy in my whole base. I had to delete half of them and like basically destroy some of my stone resources.
That's funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a great game, and it also had some. They had to take them out at the debut of the game, but there's some interactions with Twitch chat where they can impact your dungeon runs and also some of the actions you take as a cult leader with your followers. So it's pretty cool. And you can name them after some of the Twitch followers too.
There you go.
Twitch chatters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun game though. I would actually recommend it. It's a nice, cute game. Kind of dark, but it's also kind of offset by the cutesy art style of the Cold Lamb. It kind of got overshadowed with Twilight Princess, sadly.
You said you were going to talk about Blue Period. It's the painting anime, correct?
Yes. Blue Period.
Did you read did you get caught up with it? Or is
it's still ongoing. I'm fully caught up with it. I don't know why I picked it up, actually. I have no clue what the start of me picking it up was, but I just found myself binging it. This was before I started playing Cold Lamb and Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
It was just a phenomenal read. I found myself very emotional in the first few chapters because there was a lot of realizations for the main character early on, and then one of the interesting things of this manga are the side characters, some of them how they're developed, and also the plight of the main character, who is someone who realizes his passion very late in his life. So he's now picking up art as a high schooler when there have been people who've been doing it their entire life. Right, so there is him putting in what he considers more effort versus these people who've been doing it their whole life. And one of the interesting nuances I've noticed is you can still see the nuances in his thinking, where he says all of his expertise is from his hard work, but he constantly refers to other people as talented. Like kind of very rarely will he look at someone. If he sees like a competitor's work, he immediately thinks, wow, this person's talented. But he doesn't also think of the hard work that they have put in. It's just something that you notice when you're reading this manga. And I think it's just really good with, especially some of the eccentric personalities, which you see in the arts and crafts world. Yeah. And I'd highly recommend it. I bought 4 volumes. So I'd let you borrow some if you're ever interested. And then I got my ears pierced, but that's just like a side tail thing. Yeah. It's very minor. I got my ears pierced. Yeah, it was a very seamless process. I was surprised.
Yeah. Painful?
Not really. I was genuinely pretty thrown off because I thought they were sterilizing my ears or rubbing it with alcohol or whatever they do to make sure it's clean. But then I started feeling like the bit of the pinch. I was like, oh, this is happening right now. And that was kind of it. It was more work me doing the paperwork than me getting the piercing and getting the rundown of, hey, this is how you keep it clean and this and this. I was back home in 30 minutes total by the time I left to go get my ears pierced. I was driving longer than I was in that shop, I will say. But it was pretty fast. And I didn't know I had to keep these fuckers in for 9 weeks.
Yeah.
So we'll see. See how it goes. And then did you see Sakurai's YouTube channel, by the way? Man created his own separate YouTube channel. I
did now because you showed me before the podcast.
Hey, man. Yeah.
looking behind the veil a little bit.
Yeah. Man spoiled it.
But it looked interesting. I always like behind the scenes stuff like that, where if you didn't know, Sakurai kind of made a channel where he's talking about game development, like kind of analyzing like his approach to it, I guess.
Yeah, he talks about his approach to it and then also different mechanics. Like one of the episodes he's specifically talking about, it's the one I watch, is Risk and Reward and the concepts behind it. And one of the examples he uses is Space Invaders, is the game he analyzes and describes how risk and reward and then also strategy goes into play in a game like that. And it's pretty interesting, someone breaking it down. And it's just like, oh, I can see that. And, you could see the thought process behind it.
Yeah. If you like stuff like that, there's also another channel that's like going, like, it's a little different because it goes like into depth into actually how things, it's more on the programming side, more how things are programmed. It's if anybody's watching is interested in that, it's called Game Hut, I think. And this guy who used to work at Traveler's Tales, you've heard that, like, they made a lot of the Lego games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
But
games.
back during the Sega Saturn days, they made a game called Sonic. It wasn't Sonic Racing. It's Sonic. Gosh, what is it called?
Sonic CD?
No.
Well, while Julian's looking that up, League of Legends playoffs happening. Gen G won LCK. I'm excited because that was the team
Sonic
I was
R.
for.
It's called Sonic R.
Sonic R?
Yeah, have you heard of this game?
I have not.
It's a very bad racing game. It's known for being very bad and like glitchy. But this guy worked on it, and he has this YouTube channel, and he goes into how much was really involved in the creation of this game. And like all the little aspects of like what choices were made here and there, and like he even shows prototypes and stuff like that, which I always find super interesting when you see game prototypes.
Yeah.
But you realize this was like a bad game that still had like tons of effort put into it, and like, yeah.
Okay, I'm curious. When someone talks about their their previous work, which was a flop, what perspective does he give it from? Does he
very objective, very just like matter of factly of like, this is what we did. Not of,
that's good.
Yeah.
He's not trying to rationalize why
it's
they
just
did.
like,
okay.
This is like a history of what we did. Basically like a very in-depth postmortem.
Yeah. Okay, that's good that actually sounds interesting then, because then you can kind of see the process, and maybe you can come to your own opinions on like, oh, that was probably where y'all started fucking up.
Yeah. It's funny because this was a game that was like kind of Frankenstein from another thing that they were doing that got Frankenstein into this kind of Sonic thing. Which is interesting.
It wasn't originally.
No, it was
Sonic
supposed to be a I think it was like NASCAR game or something.
Dang.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Games have been good. I've been going back and playing games. I can't.
Yeah,
and I want to play.
Oh, but apparently 2023 is going to be insane for gaming. That's what I just keep hearing.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting thing where they're saying like specifically 2023 is going to be a year for gaming, which I'm always excited to hear. Yeah. If the upcoming year is apparently going to be hot for your games, I thought I enjoyed games in 2022, but apparently 2023 is the hot shit.
Yeah. There was a point, I think, in the middle of, or a couple months ago, we were just getting game after game after game. So if 23 is going to be just like that, I mean, I'm down for it. I'm here for it.
Get my wallets ready.
True.
Well, that was a bit of a shorter episode today. That was episode 66 of the Virtually Lost podcast.
Thank you guys for joining us.